Communist China working with the United Nations, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Big Pharma, which are the most ruthless, corrupt corporations out there, biologically created COVID-19 as an economic killing system to bring in the global social credit score and the technocracy. In their own words now, they admit it's bringing in the technocracy and the global social credit score. And you've had scientists in India and Australia and the United States and Germany and all over the world come out and scan the virus, COVID-19, and say it's man-made 5 different viruses. And now you've got a Chinese scientist whistleblower from Hong Kong, Dr. Li Ming Yan, who's put out a 200-page report detailing what's in all these other scientific reports. I'm about to show you that it was made at Wuhan for a reason, to shut down Hong Kong and Taiwan freedom movements, but to be used in the West to shut down our economy, make China win the trade war, and discredit Donald Trump, which you've now seen them all attempt to do. And we told you 7 months ago that was the game plan. And the White House now gets it.
Wuhan scientists took the North Carolina SARS with gain of function, which is already a biological warfare weapon, and they took the technology here behind this well-developed SARS HIV weapon, and they all brought it back to the Wuhan BSL-4 and tried to DNA genetically engineer it into a chimera, into a biological warfare weapon involving the coronavirus, the HIV virus, and gain of function. Gain of function work can only be done safely in a BSL-4 or a BSL-3 facility. So I think clearly this is the smoking gun, and there is no legitimate scientific or medical use for gain of function technology, DNA technology on biowarfare agents.
So there's no excuse that it's a vaccine test that got out.
That's baloney. This is clearly an offensive biological warfare agent.
An act of war, top scientist whistleblowers confirmed China purposely released COVID-19. This is Newsweek. Dr. Fauci backed controversial Wuhan lab with U.S. dollars for risky coronavirus research into the very COVID-19. Now, I forgot that document, the IMF came out and said 2 years ago they were funding COVID-19 research, which supposedly didn't exist until 8 months ago. Again, here's the big boil-down article. InfoWars was right. MSM finally admits COVID-19 came from Wuhan Biolab. Here's Summit.News. Chinese lab that studies world's most dangerous pathogens is based in Wuhan. That is, again, from, March. And all of these have the proof. Creator of U.S. Bioweapons Act says coronavirus is biological warfare weapon. February 4th, 2020. Infowars.com. Coronavirus contains HIV insertions, stoking fears over artificially created bioweapon. Infowars.com, zero hedge. Bioweapons expert delivers urgent message to Trump on coronavirus outbreak on InfoWars. February 7th, laying out all of it. Dr. Boyle. Coronavirus Chinese espionage behind Wuhan bioweapon. Released on purpose to destabilize the world, give them cover for Hong Kong takeover. Fake news. Told you distrusting China over coronavirus was dangerous, remember? Iranian general, coronavirus man-made bioweapon. March 5th. Bioweapons expert, who is in on biowarfare weaponization of coronavirus? The UN was involved weaponizing it with Bill Gates, author of the World Bioweapons Treaties. White House asked scientists to investigate if coronavirus is bioweapon. February 7th. Smoking gun. China bought weaponized Wuhan virus from U.S. from Obama 2015. That's February 19th. Full transcript of smoking gun bombshell interview. Professor Francis Boyle exposes bioweapons origins of the COVID-19 coronavirus. Infowars.com, February 21st. Bioweapons whistleblower blacklisted for exposing death of science programs. Scientist discovers HIV-like mutation, which makes coronavirus extremely infectious. It's not about killing you. It's about infecting you. And then it does something later. It mutates. That's why you can't escape it unless you fortify your body. You're going to get it. So that's why you better fortify your immune system. Oh, it's got a little special thing it's carrying. The real Umbrella Corps, Wuhan Ultra Biohazard Lab, was studying the world's most dangerous pathogens. Zero hedge. Here's the Indian University with the scan of the virus showing where it had the inserted HIV delivery system. Sources believe coronavirus outbreak originated in Wuhan lab as part of China's efforts to compete with the U.S. Fox News. And this comes out in May and April, after we all reported that was in April as well. Inside the Chinese lab poised to study the world's most dangerous pathogens, nature.com, and that is from 2017, 3 years ago. Creator of Bioweapons Act says coronavirus is a biological weapon. And it goes on and on. You can read it all. Coronavirus bioweapon, how China stole coronavirus from Canada and weaponized it. University of Texas being investigated over ties with Wuhan Biolab. UK ministers no longer discounting theory of COVID-19 leaked from Wuhan lab, April 6th. My point is, this is all known. There's Italian TV 2016 in the Wuhan lab where they say we're developing chimera viruses and giggling about it. It's all public.
Li Mengyan is the virologist who says she has evidence about where this pandemic actually came from. We're happy to have her on tonight. Doctor, thanks so much for coming on.
Hi, Tucker. Hi, Tucker. Thank you.
Thank you. I know that you've published some of your research. You're planning on publishing more soon. Give us, for a non-scientific audience, a summary of why you believe this virus came from a lab in Wuhan, please.
Okay, briefly, from my first report, I can present the solid scientific evidence to our audience that this virus, COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 virus, actually is not from nature. It is a man-made virus created in the lab based on the China military discovered and owned the very unique bat coronavirus, which cannot affect people, but after the modification, becomes a very harmful virus at now. So I have evidence to show why they can do it, what they have done, how did they do it.
So what you're saying is much more sinister even than we've suggested on this show, than Tom Cotton, than almost anyone suggested. You're saying that the Chinese government manufactured this virus, if I'm hearing you correctly. That's what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Based on the virus genome, it's basically like our fingerprint. So you can see the very unusual characters in their genome, which clearly, based on the other evidence they left during the modification, we can say finally this is exactly the one come from their own special bat coronavirus and then target human.
What you're alleging is shocking more even than I anticipated when we invited you on. So I just want to ask the most obvious question, which is this genome presumably is in the possession of many researchers around the world. Why is nobody saying this if it's true?
Yeah, why there is nobody want to say it? It's because of the big suppression come from the Chinese Communist Party government and also their friend in scientific world. So basically, this is very clearly that this virus is like Frankenstein. So he created those things like basically a cow has deer's head, has rabbit's ear, and also have monkey's hand. So they can never get it from the nature. And there were evidence left in the genome. But the scientific world also keeps silence, work together with Chinese Communist Party. They don't want people to know this truth. Also, that's why I get suspended, I get suppression, I am the target that Chinese Communist Party won't be disappeared.
You're a brave person. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and assuming you're not an anti-Chinese racist. So it's not clear why Twitter would shut you down or why you're being ignored by the rest of the U.S. media. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Why would the Chinese government intentionally create a virus like this?
Okay, if you want to know the exact motive, the exact idea, I think people have to come to ask them, ask Communist Party, why did they do it? Because they are the one do it. We cannot always understand their evil thinking. You have to come to ask them. But what we see already proves that they have done that. It harmed everyone in the world, lead to the historic pandemic, involve everyone.
How do you believe this virus made its way from the lab in Wuhan outside to the rest of the world?
Okay, first, as I said, I have this kind of solid scientific evidence, and also my next report will come out soon to make you fully understand it is. The other thing is, I work in the WHO reference lab, which is the top coronavirus lab in the world in the University of Hong Kong. And since I get deeply into such investigation in secret from the early beginning of this outbreak, I had my intelligence because I also get my own unique network in China, involve the hospital, institute, and also government. Also, I work with the top coronavirologists in the world. So together with my experience, I can tell you, this is created in the lab. This is from that template owned by China military. And also it is spread to the world to make such damage.
To make such damage, do you believe the Chinese government released this intentionally, on purpose? Did they do this?
Yes, of course, it's intentionally. And even no need more evidence, you already can see what they try to cover up from the early beginning, as I reviewed in different medias before. And also what else they have done, like making the fabricated virus to throw out the natural origin theory, censorship, everything that every evidence point to the lab origins, and also clearly try to make people like me want to talk about the truth get disappeared.
You know, it's hard to be shocked in a moment like this, but you have succeeded in shocking me. Unfortunately, this is not the forum for the details of your research. I don't have the grounding necessary to ask you the right questions. This is when you wish for a functioning media, because what you just said completely changes everything we think we know about the pandemic that's wrecking our country. So I really hope sincerely that you will be doing many interviews in American media and explaining this in much greater detail.
Thank
and I hope you'll come back here. Doctor, thank you so much.
Thank you. Everyone needs to know the truth.
Yeah. Shocking.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I want them shut down. I want them silenced. I want them muted. I think they are horrible for our society.
This is going to come down to a fight over how many people are awake and how many aren't. They're going to contest the election. They're going to say Trump lost. They're super pissed that I'm on air.
I want them shut down. I want them silenced. I want them muted. I think they are horrible for our society.
You kept us on air. We did the analysis first. It's now gone mainstream. We continue to be the epicenter. And what they've said directly to us is you continue to be the epicenter of our plans not going the way we want, and you need to stop right now. And they're very, very serious. Well, I'm not signing on with a bunch of devil-worshipping child molesters. This is not going to happen. So they are moving now to destroy me. I used to say support InfoWars, rescue InfoWars, save yourself, save the world. We're in this together. Because let me tell you something. Communism's up here, InfoWars is the dam blocking it, which is all of us together supporting, and you and I are all down here with our families. My children are right here, but I need money to fight a war, and I need word of mouth, and I need prayer, and I need action, because that dam's gonna come down. Trump's told you, hell's coming.